What happens when Hollywood's it couple becomes its biggest nightmare? We all saw the red carpet photos. We all heard the whispers. And we all watched Teyana Taylor systematically delete every trace of Pierre from her existence. But what if I told you the leak was just the tip of the iceberg? There is a darker, more calculated side to this story that the mainstream media is absolutely terrified to touch. Today we are going beyond the headlines and into the war room. We are exposing the devastating secret Teyana Taylor allegedly discovered that changed everything, and the shocking ultimatum she delivered that has Pierre's entire legal team in a state of code red panic. Was this just a secret relationship, or was it a cold-blooded betrayal that used Teyana's own family as a PR shield? Teyana Taylor is world-renowned for being a ride or die. But once you cross that line, the gloves don't just come off. She burns the whole house down. From the private cloud folder she uncovered to the explosive threat that forced a Hollywood rising star into hiding, we have the exclusive inside scoop on the confrontation of the century. You think you know why they broke up? Wait until you hear what she threatened to release next. This is Hollywood Unfiltered, and Teyana Taylor just went nuclear. I have focused on the deep psychological layers of Teyana's suspicions, the digital breadcrumbs that led to the discovery, and the specific details of the secret she allegedly unearthed. In the world of celebrity gossip, we often see the aftermath before we see the action. We see the unfollows, the deleted photos, and the cryptic captions. But we rarely see the exact moment the glass shatters. For Teyana Taylor, that moment didn't happen on a red carpet or under the flash of a paparazzi's camera. It happened in the quiet, sterile glow of a smartphone screen. To understand how Teyana exposed Pierre, we have to look at the meticulous way she uncovered a secret that was designed to stay buried forever. Teyana Taylor is not just a performer. She is a strategist. Coming off a high-profile divorce from Iman Shumpert, her guard was at an all-time high. She had publicly stated that she was done with the games and the shadows. When Pierre entered her life, he was marketed as the antidote to her past, a sophisticated British gentleman who valued privacy. But in Hollywood, privacy is often a mask for secrecy. The first cracks in the facade, the suspicion didn't start with a rumor. It started with the small things. Sources close to Teyana suggest that she began noticing a pattern in Aaron's behavior whenever he returned to the UK. While he was in America with her, he was the doing partner, the apple pie that fans adored. But the moment he touched down in London, communication would become sparse. He would disappear for hours, citing family time or script readings. For a woman who has been through the ringer with infidelity before, these weren't just red flags. They were sirens. Teyana reportedly began to notice that Aaron was maintaining a secondary private social media account, a phenomena that none of his American friends knew about. This wasn't just a place for casual photos. It was a portal into a life that Teyana Taylor was never supposed to see. The digital discovery, the hidden cloud. The exposure allegedly took a dramatic turn when a shared device, likely an iPad or a production laptop, used during their collaborative creative sessions, synced to a cloud account Aaron had forgotten to log out of. This is the nightmare scenario for anyone living a double life. While Teyana was reportedly organizing files for an upcoming music video project, she stumbled upon a folder that was encrypted but not hidden. Using her intuition, she allegedly gained access to the folder. And what she found was enough to make her blood run cold. It wasn't just a few photos of another person. It was a digital archive of a 3-year relationship with a prominent male figure in the London fashion and social scene. There were travel itineraries, intimate messages, and most devastatingly, a series of emails between Aaron and his UK-based management team. The beard strategy exposed. This is where the story turns. From a standard cheating scandal into a full-blown Hollywood conspiracy. Within those emails, Teyana reportedly discovered the blueprint for her own relationship. The secret wasn't just that Aaron was gay or bisexual. The secret was that his management had allegedly scouted for a high-profile, cool, and respected black female artist in the US to pair him with. The goal to Americanize Pierre and build a leading man image that would appeal to female audiences before his major Disney and blockbuster releases. Teyana realized that she wasn't just a girlfriend. She was a brand partner in a contract she never signed. The emails allegedly discussed how Teyana's ride-or-die reputation would rub off on Aaron, making him seem more relatable and grounded. Imagine the gut punch of realizing that the man you let into your home, the man you introduced to your children, and the man you defended against critics was potentially part of a calculated PR move to hide his true self. This was the expose that changed Teyana from a hurt partner into a woman on a mission for justice. The London connection. As Teyana dug deeper into the digital receipts, she found that the man in London wasn't just a secret. He was a constant. While Aaron was posing for photos with Teyana at the Oscars after-parties, he was allegedly sending "I miss you" texts to his partner in London. The leaks that eventually hit the internet weren't an accident. They were the result of a lifestyle that had become too heavy to maintain. There are rumors that the London partner was also getting tired of the charade. Seeing Aaron and Teyana being hailed as the new power couple was too much for someone who had been in the shadows for 3 years. This created a pressure cooker environment where a leak was inevitable. But Teyana didn't wait for the leak to find her. She found the truth herself. The psychological impact of the lie. For Teyana, this discovery reopened wounds she thought had healed. She had spent years defending her previous marriage, only to find herself in a situation where her very reality was being manipulated for someone else's career gain. The secret was a direct attack on her authenticity. Teyana prides herself on being Harlem to the core, unfiltered and real. To find out she was the centerpiece of a manufactured romance was the ultimate betrayal. She spent 48 hours in silence, gathering every screenshot, every email and every photo. She didn't confront him immediately. She did what any smart mogul would do. She secured the evidence. She knew that in the world of Hollywood PR, it's your word against theirs. But with the cloud files in her possession, she had the power to dismantle his entire leading man narrative in one post, the calm before the storm. During this 2-day period, Teyana continued to move in silence. She attended her meetings. She worked on her choreography and she looked after her daughters. But internally she was preparing for war. She reportedly reached out to her own legal team to see what her options were. Could she sue for emotional distress? Could she break any existing NDAs? The discovery of the secret was the catalyst for a total personality shift. The Teyana who was in love was gone. In her place was a woman who was ready to expose not just Aaron Pierre, but the entire system that thinks it can use black women as PR shields for men's secrets. The tension was at a breaking point. Aaron Pierre was reportedly still acting as if everything was normal. Unaware that Teyana had already accessed the archive of lies, he was preparing for his next big press tour. While Teyana was preparing his exit papers in the next part of this script, we are going to dive into the actual confrontation. What happened when Teyana finally showed him the folder? What was the shocking threat she made that silenced his entire legal team? And how did Aaron Pierre react when he realized his leading man mask had been ripped off by the very woman he thought he was playing? The apple pie wasn't just sour, it was poisonous, and Teyana Taylor was about to make sure. The whole world saw the receipts. The air in the room was reportedly so thick you could cut it with a knife. This wasn't a public argument in a restaurant or a spat caught by the paparazzi. This was a private, calculated showdown in a high-end hotel suite away from the prying eyes of the world. Aaron Pierre supposedly walked into that room expecting a normal evening, perhaps even a discussion about their next public appearance. Instead, he walked into a trial where Teyana Taylor was the judge, the jury, and the executioner. The reveal of the receipts. According to sources close to the situation, Teyana didn't start with screams or tears. She started with a laptop. She sat across from Aaron and turned the screen toward him. On that screen wasn't a movie script or a music video treatment. It was the cloud folder. It was the messages to the London partner, the flight logs, and most importantly, the strategy emails from his management team discussing how to use Teyana to soften his image for the American public. For several minutes, there was reportedly total silence. Aaron, a classically trained actor, found himself in a role he couldn't perform his way out of. The leading man mask didn't just slip, it shattered. When he finally spoke, he reportedly tried the gaslighting route, the classic Hollywood move of claiming things were taken out of context or that the messages were old. But Teyana had the timestamps. She had the proof that while he was holding her hand at dinner, he was texting his secret life in the UK. The power shift. Teyana's response to his denials was reportedly cold and surgical. She told him that she wasn't interested in his excuses. She was interested in the disrespect. She highlighted the fact that she had put her reputation on the line for him. She had defended him against critics who questioned their speedy romance. She had allowed him into her inner sanctum only to find out she was a project on a PR whiteboard. This is where the dynamic shifted from a breakup to a hostage situation for Aaron's career. Teyana knew that Aaron was on the verge of the biggest career milestone of his life. Mufasa the Lion King was months away from a massive global rollout. Disney, a brand built on family-friendly, wholesome values, does not handle scandals well, especially scandals involving deception, bearding, and fractured relationships with beloved public figures like Teyana. The shocking threat. As the conversation intensified, Aaron's management team was reportedly called into the room via speakerphone. They tried to offer solutions. They talked about joint statements and amicable separations. They even hinted at financial compensation for Teyana's time. Cooperation. This was the ultimate mistake. Offering money to Teyana Taylor is like offering water to a flood. She doesn't need it, and it only makes her more powerful. Teyana's threat was simple, direct, and absolutely chilling. She reportedly told them, "I don't want your money. I want the truth. And if you try to spin this, or if you ever try to paint me as the problem in this relationship, I am going to release a 45-minute documentary-style storytime on my YouTube and Instagram." But that wasn't the shocker. The part that sent Aaron's team into a panic was when she added, "And I'm not just exposing Aaron. I am going to name every agent, every manager, and every PR firm involved in this beard contract. I am going to expose the names of the other actors you are doing this to right now. I will burn the entire system down." The nuclear option. This was the nuclear option. In Hollywood, secrets are the currency. Everyone knows that bearding happens, but nobody talks about it. If Teyana followed through, she wouldn't just be ruining Aaron Pierre's career. She would be starting a MeToo-style movement for PR deception. She would be exposing how studios manipulate black women to protect the bankability of their male stars. Aaron's legal team reportedly begged her to reconsider. They knew that if Teyana Taylor, a woman with over 16 million followers and immense respect in the industry, went live with that information, it would be a black swan event for the industry. The studios would have to distance themselves from everyone involved. Aaron Pierre would become radioactive. The ultimatum. Teyana gave them an ultimatum. "You have 24 hours to disappear from my life. No statements. No sources talking to TMZ. No, we remain friends. Lies. You delete the posts, I delete the posts, and you stay in the shadows where you clearly feel most comfortable. If I hear one peep from a source trying to make me look like the bad guy, the video goes live." This threat is why the world saw such a sudden and total digital scrub. It's why there were no long drawn-out tabloid battles. The silence wasn't mutual respect. It was mutual assured destruction. Aaron Pierre didn't just lose a girlfriend that night. He lost his leverage. He was forced to watch as Teyana erased him from her digital history, unable to say a single word in his own defense because he knew what she had in her vault. The aftermath in the room. Reports say that after the threat was delivered, Teyana simply walked out, leaving Aaron and his team in the wreckage of their own plan. She didn't look back. She went home, gathered her daughters, and began the process of moving on. For Aaron, the secret was out, but it was being held under lock and key by the one person he couldn't control. He was now living in a world where his entire future depended on Teyana Taylor's mercy. Every time she posted a cryptic quote or a song lyric, Aaron's team reportedly had a heart attack, wondering if this was the moment she would hit upload on the expose. The confrontation changed the game. It wasn't about a leaked gay relationship anymore. It was about a powerful woman refusing to be a pawn in a corporate game. Teyana Taylor exposed the fact that she is the one with the real power. She showed that her ride-or-die loyalty is a gift, and if you abuse it, she has the receipts to take down the entire building. In the final part of this script, we're going to look at the Cold War that followed. We'll explore the hush that fell over Hollywood, the cryptic messages Teyana used to keep them on their toes, and the final state of Aaron Pierre's leading man dream. Was the threat enough to keep the truth buried forever? Or is the expose still waiting in the wings? The apple pie wasn't just sour, it was a ticking time bomb, and Teyana Taylor is the only one who knows when the timer hits zero. The final detailed segment of the exposed script. This section covers the Cold War following the threat, the psychological power play Teyana maintained, and the ultimate fate of Pierre's reputation in the shadow of the receipts. After the explosive confrontation in that hotel suite, a heavy, suffocating silence fell over Hollywood. This wasn't the kind of silence that follows an amicable breakup. This was the silence of a Cold War. Teyana Taylor had laid down the law, and Pierre's camp knew that any wrong move, any leaked source story to People magazine or TMZ would trigger a digital nuclear strike. Teyana had the receipts, she had the video, and she had the platform to dismantle an entire industry's PR machine, the digital scrub, and the power of absence. In the days following the threat, the public witnessed something rarely seen in the age of oversharing, a total surgical eraser. Usually when celebs break up, they leave a few photos up for a while, or their friends talk to the press to control the narrative. But with and Teyana, it was as if they had never existed. Teyana didn't just delete the photos. She deleted the memory. By removing every trace of from her grid, she wasn't just cleaning up. She was exercising the power of the unperson. She was showing that without her light, he was back in the shadows. For this was a devastating blow to his leading man momentum. His association with Teyana was what gave him street cred and cool points in the US market. Without her, he was just another talented actor with a very dark cloud hanging over his head. The hush over Hollywood. Word travels fast in the tight-knit circles of Hollywood agents and publicists. The shocking threat Teyana made to expose not just but the bearding contracts and the agencies behind them sent a chill through the industry. Reports suggest that several high-level meetings were held at major talent agencies. They weren't just worried about they were worried about their other clients. If Teyana went nuclear, she would be pulling back the curtain on a system that has existed since the golden age of Hollywood. A system that uses prominent women to verify the heterosexuality of male stars to protect their box office value. Teyana had become the most dangerous woman in town because she was the only one brave enough to say, "I'll burn it all down to protect my integrity." The cryptic cat and mouse game. Even though Teyana didn't release the full expose, she didn't let breathe easy either. For months she engaged in what fans called a masterclass in shade. Every time Pierre had a major announcement, a new trailer, a magazine cover, or a press release, Teyana would post something cryptic on her stories. She would share songs about lies, deception, or the truth setting you free. She would post quotes about discernment and seeing through the mask. To the casual observer it was just typical Teyana, but to and his legal team it was a warning shot. It was her way of saying, "I'm still here and I still have the files. Don't get too comfortable." This psychological warfare kept Aaron's team in a permanent state of damage control, unable to fully launch his solo brand because they were always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Pierre's quiet era. Pierre, once the most talked about rising star, suddenly became the most guarded actor in the business. His interviews became stiff and strictly professional. He stopped attending the A-list parties where he might run into Teyana or her auntie's circle. The charisma that fans fell in love with seemed to have been replaced by a look of constant anxiety. The London secret was still there, but it was now a cage. He couldn't go public with his partner because that would prove Teyana was right and that he had lied to her. He couldn't date anyone else because the beard allegations would immediately resurface. He was stuck in a PR limbo, a direct result of trying to play a woman who knows the game better than the players. The aftermath. Teyana's vindication. While was struggling to find his footing, Teyana Taylor was thriving. She proved that you don't need to out someone to win. You just need to stand in your truth. She reclaimed her narrative as the alpha female who won't be used as a stepping stone. The exposed secret ultimately did more than just end a relationship. It sparked a conversation among Black women in the industry about protective loyalty. Teyana became a symbol for every woman who has ever felt like they were being used for their husbands or boyfriends. Image. She showed that your safe space is sacred, and if someone violates that space with lies, you have every right to show them the door and the receipts. The final state of the secret. As we stand today, the video expose remains in Teyana's vault. She hasn't released it yet, but the threat remains the most powerful weapon in her arsenal. It has forced a level of accountability in Aaron's camp that no public statement ever could. Pierre is moving forward with his career, But he is doing so with the knowledge that his leading man status is on a permanent probationary period issued by Teyana Taylor. In the end, Teyana didn't just expose a gay relationship. She exposed a system of deception. She exposed the PR machines that think they can manipulate real people's lives for a movie's opening weekend. And most importantly, she exposed the fact that in 2026, you cannot play with a woman who has nothing to lose and everything to prove. The apple pie wasn't just a nickname. It was a lesson. And the lesson is never mistake Teyana Taylor's kindness for weakness, because she's always got the receipts and she's always ready to hit post. And that, my friends, is the chilling conclusion to the saga of Teyana Taylor and Pierre. This wasn't just a breakup. It was a high-stakes power play that nearly took down a Hollywood machine. Teyana Taylor proved once and for all that she is the queen of the receipts, and her nuclear option threat is still echoing through the halls of every major talent agency in town. But now the floor is yours. Do you think Teyana is holding on to that video as a final warning, or do you think she should just release it and expose the whole bearding system once and for all? And what about Pierre? Can he ever truly be a superstar while this shadow is hanging over him? Or has Teyana already done enough damage by simply taking away her light? Comment below. I want to see the theories. If you're Team Teyana and you love how she stands up for herself, smash that like button. Share this video with anyone who thinks they can play a Harlem girl. And most importantly, subscribe and hit that bell icon. We are staying on top of this story as it develops. And if Teyana ever hits upload on that expose, you'll hear it here first.